Good to see Jessica again. It's been a minute since we saw her. Do I sound bad? Did I startle you? What happened, Chris?
Yes.
Why did you react
you did.
as if you were surprised that we were beginning our show?
It was quite a declaration. From silence, it was like, good to see Jessica.
Are you drinking some morning wine? What is that? Is that a mimosa?
What are you
doing? What is happening right now?
Oh, my Steelers, Dan. My Steelers won the final NFL game of the season, Week 18, on a missed kick from the Ravens. And then they fired their coach. And guess who's in the playoffs again? Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, Dan.
I wanted to ask the group here and Jessica, if he makes that field goal, are we having the same conversation right now about Tomlin instead of Harbaugh? Is it the same thing that we'd be doing right now? Do you think he survives?
Yes, certainly yes.
You think so you think Pittsburgh would have been let go if a 44-yard field goal goes in, you think Tomlin would have been let go?
I don't know if he is let go or if he's like, I'm leaving, but that was what some of the reporting led me to believe up until that game. I don't know the truth of it. We talked about this on Mystery Crate a few weeks ago because for the last 3 years, there's been reporting around the end of the regular season that this is it for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, and then they make the playoffs and then they lose their first playoff game and then he signs an extension or whatever. So maybe he would have stuck around for another year or whatever, but it kind of seemed like there was a lot of frustration bubbling at the end of this year when they lost to the Browns, Dan.
The answer is yes, Dan. That's the literal definition of a loser leaves town match.
You guys do understand how silly it is to fire one coach and not the other because somebody missed a 44-yard
And
field
Tomlin
goal.
spoke to that. You could see post-game, he gave to the camera. He looked right at one of the cameras and gave a shrug, that's how it works. I'm still here now.
My question is, let's say the Ravens make the playoff, they make the kick, they make the playoff. There's been all this reporting that Harbaugh lost the locker room and he wasn't getting along with Lamar Jackson. So I don't know how far they would have made it in the playoffs. Maybe they win a couple games, maybe, they lose in the first round. Do you think both of them in some alternate reality, the kick goes in, but both coaches end up not coaching for their teams next year too? Because that seemed like it also could have been a reality.
I just find kind of amazing here that Mike Tomlin, I've said before, one of the most amazing stats to me in football is that the Steelers have only had really 3 coaches. But also amazing within that is that Tomlin always has winning seasons, and it's not just all Roethlisberger. It's an assortment of mishmash nonsense that has – how many coaches has Tomlin gotten fired with the last game?
Dan, I saw this incredible list of coaches from Alex Kozora on Twitter, who writes for
I'm gonna like this.
I think Steelers Depot or one of the Steelers sites. This was his list of coaches that have been fired after playing against Mike Tomlin. There's some names on this list that I haven't thought about in years. We'll start with Romeo Crennel, Eric Mangini. I feel like we need some fanfare,
Man,
Chris.
genius.
Pat Shurmur. Rob Chudzinski,
Wow.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mike Patine,
That's not a real
Mike
guy.
Pettin, I think it was.
Yeah, it's
Patton?
okay. That's all right.
Browns.
You're forgiven for forgiving him. All of these are going to end up being Browns coaches.
Hugh Jackson was the next one. Brian Billick, Marvin Lewis,
Marvelous Marvin.
and I think unequivocally the best coach on this list, John Harbaugh.
Can I just go back to the conversation we've been having in some form for 20 years around here about coaching and over the last couple of hours? How do I quantify the idea, Jessica, that a man who has nothing but winning seasons on his resume over 2 decades would be close to being fired? What sense does that make?
Because they haven't won a playoff game in so long, Dan. So long. That is the reason why.
But they're not that good. They're always
Well, whose fault is
overachieving.
that?
They're not underachieving. They're overachieving. I don't feel like you guys feel like that's Tomlin's fault. Does anyone listening to this feel like the reason the Steelers don't win playoff games is because Tomlin knows how to win more than he loses during the regular season, but forgets how to do that when he's playing teams that are better than his in the playoffs?
No, I think it's patently ridiculous to even consider firing John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin. I think they're both Hall of Fame coaches.
It's two completely different scenarios, though. Like, no one's going to argue that the Ravens and Harbaugh have not had the talent. And it's actually the exact opposite that you argue, or
Yes.
I think we're arguing right now with the Steelers.
Yeah, I think the Harbaugh thing is interesting because if you believe the reporting about him and Lamar Jackson and him in the locker room, then they made their choice. They want to stick with Lamar Jackson. I think that's probably a wise choice to make. They have lost some excruciating postseason games with a coach that everyone agrees is very good, but sometimes it's time. And when you have someone who's a MVP caliber quarterback, that you make your choice. With Tomlin, I think there's probably a fair bit of blame to share about why the Steelers haven't won a playoff game in like 8 seasons or 9 seasons, whatever it is now. But I do think like you have to give him credit because he has won a lot of games with Mitch Trubisky, Kenny Pickett, old Aaron Rodgers. I mean, old. We all saw that first time he was going to scramble on Sunday night. He ended up having like a pretty nice scramble a few minutes later, I think on like a 3rd down, but he was so slow, Dan.
Oh my God. It's shocking. It is shocking to me, even understanding that 40 is old for football, but isn't actually that old. It's shocking to me to see what that Achilles injury has done to all of the athleticism that a 4-time MVP used to
And
have.
yet he was able to leap for joy at the end of that game.
Yeah,
and that was,
a
the lasting look for John Harbaugh.
great little leap at the end. But yeah, Mike Tomlin's been able to have winning seasons without Lamar Jackson caliber quarterback. So I think you give him credit for that. But like if you have watched all of the games he's coached in the last few seasons, like, yeah, there's times where you're like, oh my God, what is going, like, this is, I think the Browns game last week was a great example of that. You go from like the highs of beating the Lions in this crazy like end of game scenario with the OPI call. And then the next week you just lay an egg in a must-win game. So you don't have to win to beat, to go into the playoffs against the Ravens. And I think there's been a fair bit of that too, and questions about, the offense and defensive coordinator and things like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think they, despite the frustrations, there's still an immense amount of satisfaction making the playoffs with this hodgepodge of quarterbacks. No pun intended.
Can you name them?
That list.
Can you name them for me, Jeremy? All of the quarterbacks, because she mentioned Pickett and she mentioned a couple of others, but name the quarterbacks that he has still had winning seasons with over the last 4 years of quarterback play.
Yeah, I mean, it's been before Aaron Rodgers, it was Russell Wilson and Justin Fields last year. Then it was Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, and Mitch Trubisky.
Come
it was
on,
Kenny
man.
Pickett and Mitch Trubisky the year before that. And then the years before that, you had the very tail end of Ben Roethlisberger before, of course, that 2019 season that Jess was just talking about where you had Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges, and Ben Roethlisberger.
What do you
for
want to
2
do?
games.
Like, what can you do there? You can't do the fact that he has had winning seasons with that is an absolute overachievement that is unimpeachable. And it's just Steeler fans being bored with what they call mediocrity when it's not mediocrity. Like, I
But
recognize
is the point of like a football season to win 9 or 10 games and then lose in the first round to the Bills and get stomped? I don't think so. Like, I don't think that's people being bored. I think that's people, Mike Tomlin says it himself. The standard is the standard, Dan. Like, the standard isn't to lose to the Bills in the first game of the postseason.
Yeah, but the standard was created by Bradshaw and Roethlisberger. It can't be upheld by Trubisky and Duck Hodges and this nonsense that you guys are saying over the last 4 years. Like, that's just slop.
Yeah, but do you think he has a say in who his personnel is?
It's just hard to get quarterbacks. Like, I understand.
I agree with you. I think, yeah, I agree with that point.
All of the quarterbacks in the playoffs, all of them, first round picks. Every last one of them. There's not a one in the playoffs who's not a first round pick. It's hard. You have to be bad to get quarterbacks. Like, that's what you have to do. They're never bad.
My fear now that someone put this on my timeline yesterday. What if Tua ends up the quarterback of the Steelers next year?
That'll be so bad.
Whoa!
You
That'll
don't
be
want
terrible.
Are you floating that
Turn
rumor?
into Mr. Ed.
No, I'm saying I'm terrified of it. But
Bring
yeah,
back
to
Duck
to your
Hodges.
point about first round picks, Dan, the Steelers are now in the playoffs with a first round pick. Not Kenny Pickett, who maybe shouldn't have been a first round pick, but with 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. So that's exciting.
There are some accusations around here that is not wine, that you are faking alcohol in the morning, that is some sort of electrolyte drink.
Gatorade.
that they're-
Pedialyte,
Electrolyte
though.
drink.
Pedialytes
LOL.
or something.
What is that?
That's citrus cooler.
That does not look like. That is not a wine? What is that?
It's a nice organic skin contact orange, Dan. You wouldn't understand.
I wouldn't understand. You're right about that. Did you guys catch the little bit of football that we got? Was it on Tuesday night, Monday night, when we were all starved for a little football and then a surprise championship game made an appearance? Did you guys watch any of that?
No.
You don't know what I'm talking about? Surely Jess, who's got an addiction to these things, surely she has some thoughts on the only football that we've gotten this week.
Dan, it made me so angry. So the FCS championship game against Montana State and Illinois State was on Tuesday night. I stayed up way past my bedtime watching it. I was rooting for Illinois State. I decided after Illinois State beat the Pope's team, Villanova, I was going to become an Illinois State fan. I've been there before. It's not far from where I grew up. My aunt went there. I was like, all right, here we go.
Another
It's gonna
team.
be a huge upset. Yeah, exactly, Chris. I was like, I'm going to make Illinois State my whole identity. Head coach Brock's back. You're mine now. What a name. So anyways, this game was absolutely bonkers. Montana State had 9 false starts in this game. Illinois State could not make a kick. The last quarter of the game, Illinois State scores 2 touchdowns to come back, and they have a chance to win the game. It's like 4th and 1 inside the 20. And instead of going for it on 4th down, try to score a touchdown, there are a few minutes left in the game, they attempt to kick a field goal. Do you want to know how that ended up, Dan?
Was that a wine burp? Was that a wine burp?
That was a wine burp. Thank you, Chris.
Good to hear.
It got blocked. The game goes to overtime. Illinois State scores in the first overtime offense period. Then they try to kick an extra point. That gets blocked too. So the Montana State guy's running back the extra point, and Illinois State guy, very heady play, grabs him by the face mask and tackles him, which apparently is like a purge down in football. Once there's been a try and there's a penalty on like the run back of that, extra point, that penalty does not get enforced on the next possession. So Montana State just got the ball back at the 25, but Illinois State only had scored 6 points. So then Montana State scores a touchdown, kicks the extra point, and wins the game. But it was excruciating to watch as an Illinois State fan, Dan. Excruciating to watch because they came back and they had it. All they had to do was try to go for it on 4th down, score a touchdown, or kick a successful field goal, which, by the way, if you were watching that game live, you knew that field goal was not going to go in. You knew that there was going to be another block kick. That was not going to go in. But it was very painful for me. But luckily, it came after the high of the Steelers one Sunday, so I recovered.
Jess, are you feeling the same way that I am, where, tomorrow night we got the Fiesta Bowl, and it's enough with this Trinidad Chambliss, right?
Oh, come on.
We're talking, come on. This isn't Andrew Luck, all right? It's enough already, right?
I did not think that's where you were going to go with this. I thought you were going to say this is enough with the calendar of the 12-team playoff the last 2 years. Because I don't know about you, it's January 7th. The title game isn't for another 2 weeks. This is ridiculous. Like the portal stuff is happening. All these teams are like setting up their 2026 rosters. We still have 3 more college football games left. It's absolutely bonkers.
Do they set this calendar which is pin the tail on the donkey? It's like, okay, we're going to put this here. The portal open, and then the season ends here. This is just one of the more ridiculous things I've ever seen in sports, this football calendar for college football.
No, it's very stupid. I think the best case scenario would be to move everything up a week, and so then you have semifinal games around New Year's when it's like peak football watching time, and then play the championship game the week that it's like been played for the last decade or so, which is like the first Monday of January or the second Monday of January usually. And that would make a lot more sense. But then you have to move everything else up. And then like, what do you do with the New Year's 6 games? And then like, what do you do with the Army-Navy game? Like that's got its own window on CBS. So then you have playoff games during the Army-Navy game. There's like, I don't know, but it's all stupid.
Jess, Greg said the Fiesta Bowl tomorrow between Miami and Ole Miss is the national championship.
Correct.
Interesting.
Well,
polite by you to call that merely interesting.
No, here's another way to put the question, even though this is not in the question form. The Miami Hurricanes are going to win the national championship. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I think that they have a real shot at winning the national championship. I thought going into the playoffs, like if they could get past Texas A&M on the road, like they've got a legit shot. So I'm not going to argue with you. I think Indiana is obviously very good. So if Indiana beats Oregon, I think that they'll probably be favored against Miami, but I still think that's a game. I don't think that there's any like runaway favorite right now among the 4 teams. I just think Indiana's really good, but Miami's also really good. I think Miami could run the ball really, really well in the Fiesta Bowl against Ole Miss.
They're going to. But does it feel wrong to you? Because it does to me. Does it feel wrong to you, the idea of a 2-loss champion?
I mean, after last year when Ohio State lost to Michigan and then went on their playoff run, it kind of eliminated to me the idea that, like, bad regular season losses, like, people have been saying this for a long time, and I do think it's finally come true. Like, the regular season losses have been de-emphasized in a way because of the 12-team playoff. Like, if you can lose to SMU and Louisville but still be, you don't even make it to your conference championship game and still be a national champion, then I do think that, like, next time that there's a huge upset on a Saturday during the regular season, you kind of shrug and are like, well, if this team's still good, they still can win a national championship. And that, I think, has been a huge shift over the last 2 years with the 12-team playoff that you can't really avoid. I think Ohio State was the first example of that last year, because, like, that was a humiliating loss to their rival in the last game of the season. But then, does anyone dispute the fact that they were the best team in college football last year? I mean, I guess Michigan fans still can make fun of them over it, but they won, and they had to beat a lot of good teams.
But it's not 2 losses, though. It's not. We were talking earlier in the show. It's only happened twice, and obviously we haven't had the playoff before, but it's only happened twice in the history of college football that at the end of a season your champion is someone with 2 losses.
Yeah, I think it's different now, though. And it might be even more different if it goes to 14 or 16 teams. I mean, imagine if Alabama, who should have never made the playoff in the first place, went on some sort of miraculous playoff run, and the SEC runner-up who lost by 3 touchdowns then is your national champion.
You say it's different, and it is, but Miami was almost not in these playoffs, and they're the only one of these teams that can win the championship with 2 losses. Like, there aren't any others out there. All the other teams will not have lost twice if they win the championship.
Right. And I think that that's the biggest argument against people that say you don't need a 12-team playoff. And I was one of those people until, like, probably the last 2 seasons, when you have seen a flattening. I think a lot of, like, the advanced analytics would support the fact that there's less distance between the number 1 and the number 15 team than there were say in, like, 2021 or 2020. And so a lot of football fans are still kind of catching up to the idea that, like, a 10 seed could win a championship game because they still could be good. They could have just inexplicably lost 2 conference games in the middle of the season that they really shouldn't have lost. And so that, I guess, is an argument for expanding the playoff, which I don't think there was a great argument for in, like 5 years ago, even when that flattening hadn't happened yet. And there really were only maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 teams that were just so much better than, 4 through 15.
Jess, outside of the big 3, how many amendments do you think you can name?
Of course, big 3 being 1, 2, and 5.
That's a great question, Jer Bear. 19. That's an important one.
19th is important.
Oh, I thought you could name 19.
That was
amendments.
that was
We
like
were all-
that. I
we were
called
all-
it.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, like,
I-
wow,
yes, I
you
don't
paid
think
attention
you
to
can-
school.
Hey, no Googling either. I
Big
see you.
brain on Jess.
Guys,
it's the glasses.
please. I'm a half glass. I'm a half glass of wine deep. Don't ask. I'm not here to take a quiz.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That's the way to answer that, because I do believe this is not the room to talk
If she
amendments
can't do it,
with.
none of us are going to be able to.
That is correct. I want to talk to you a little bit about what is happening throughout college football, the ability for Auburn to just buy South Florida's coach and quarterback, the ability of Oklahoma State to just buy North Texas's coach and quarterback, 30% of all the players being in the transfer portal. Who are the transfer portal villains beyond the agents?
I'll give you one, Dan, because this has been a hot topic. I'm sure you guys have already talked about the Washington quarterback that potentially transferring to LSU now after re-signing his deal with Washington earlier, I guess later last week. He is being made out to be a villain. And while I think that what he's doing is very villainous, I will not dispute that. I think the biggest villain is still Lane Kiffin, because he left his team that is trying to still compete for a national championship to be the coach at LSU in the first place. And I don't want us to lose sight of that, Dan. I don't want us to lose sight of the fact that Lane Kiffin left his team that is still on January 7th attempting to compete for a national
Do you think he's rooting
championship
for them?
game. I think he says that he is, and he'll probably get. I think he's like, there was reporting that he was going to get bonus money for every game that they won.
Yes, there was reporting.
So yeah,
that,
I
yes.
would say he's probably rooting
Oh yeah,
for them
wasn't
because of
isn't
that.
LSU has to
Covering
get
it.
LSU
Yeah.
has to pay. That was well put by you, but yes.
Miss.
I knew what you want. I knew what you meant, though. You sound like you've had a couple glasses this morning too. It's the first week back after a long layoff, guys. Give Zaz a break. He would have known all those amendments if it were next week. But yeah, Lane Kiffin's the villain. That's my point. And like, there's a lot of my fear. This is maybe like a tad existential, Dan. My fear is that what is on my head?
Well,
on the screen?
Greg has drawn something, but the thing that people didn't notice,
telestrating me?
we have a telestrator, but what people might not have
Dan
noticed.
has a little hat.
Here's what's funny about this, Jessica. It's not just that you were wearing a little hat that Greg drew, that for the last 5 minutes before that, I watched him try to draw that with an actual pen on the telestrator.
He used the wrong thing.
So now there's just pen drawings all over the iPad.
Thousands of dollars.
Where
that
the
thing cost.
telestrator is
I'm
supposed
sure
to
John
be.
Madden used to do that too.
Penn Teller.
Nice. I've seen them.
Not nice. You know what? I'm going to have to get you out of here, and I'm sorry that you're so terrible at
Can
this.
I take the
but
telestrator with
me?
me?
Take it with you.
My new toy.
Minor penalty, 2 minutes. Personal foul. Personal and foul.
Get out of here. That just unbelievable what you just did there in its entirety, all of it. Before we get you out of here, Jessica, would you prefer to see a video of a man being kicked in the junk by an AI robot or somebody struggling with the boulder from the Indiana Jones movies? Which
Stunt show at Disney.
Which would you prefer to see?
I saw that one. That boulder is too big. Let's watch someone getting hit in the nuts.
All right. Here's somebody playing with an AI robot. There it is. There it is. That's
This is so
Why is the
great.
robot mocking
No,
him?
so that's what it is. The whole setup of this thing.
This
is that
guy's
the
controlling the robot.
controlling it, so he kicks himself in the ball.
And then the robot does his reaction
over.
to the kick.
Whoa! Oh no! It's just what a metaphor for AI. Am I right?
This is
the
what
g-
it feels like to be a Notre Dame men's basketball fan.
check out her weekly Notre Dame podcast, The Echoes with Mike Golick Jr. She's excited to have another playoff game. She is look at her, a tipsy Steeler fan, feeling good about herself because her coach always wins, even if his quarterback is a combination of Mitch Trubisky and Duck Hodges. Thank you, Jessica. We appreciate you being
He always
on with
pulls me
us.
back in, Dan. Goodbye.
And my dad just looking at the telestrator, not doing anything with it.
That's right. Your father is in rare form here today in general and has been in rare form. Oh, I should have asked her if she was surprised at all by his behavior this morning, spilling coffee all over the floor and then just waiting for somebody to clean it up for him. It was just breathtaking
We'll ask next week.
in its entitlement. Something that happened here yesterday, I'm going to say quietly, although everything I'm about to say is fairly ridiculous to me, and I don't think I could have imagined it 15 years ago. LeBron James, for what I believe is the first time, is giving voice to the idea, okay, somebody else's team now. I'm going to have to tailor my game around Luka. And he added some context when he says, there's not a basketball game being played anywhere that I don't know how it is that I would make myself fit around that. But we were talking yesterday about Trae Young and his value and the idea of counting stats and not believing that Trae Young has very much value. And Zaz said, among other things, Trae Young, it's crazy to think that he doesn't have value when he's a 25-10 guy. But
I agree with it, but yeah.
Well, but the counting stats don't matter anymore, right? I do believe that I can take any third guy on any team and get 25-10 out of him if I give him the usage rate that Trae Young has in Atlanta, and then I don't have a good team, but I have a guy who's getting 25-10. I really do believe that I can go to any third guy who's a scorer on a roster, make him Norman Powell, and all of a sudden what I'm seeing from a number one guy is a team that's a 500 team, but I'm getting counting stats that are a good deal better, but my team's not good enough.
I mean, I would add a couple things. Number one of the things that I think you like about Trae Young is we've seen him in big spots in big playoff games, and he's been able to carry teams to not just wins, but road wins. I mean, very famously, that series against the New York Knicks. I mean, that Hawks team that he took to, I think, the Eastern Conference Finals, that Hawks team, look, the cast around him. I mean, it's Kevin Huerter, John Collins, and Clint Capella. Like, And I totally get what you're saying, especially because half the game, the defensive end, you really can't win with players who are Trae Young's size. Anyone who trades for him and wants any chance of winning, your defense has to be really good, the rest of your players that are in the lineup with him. But man, I think this is a really good player who seemingly has no value.
Well, and reputationally, we all think of him as a guy who can spread the floor as well. He can't. He's a 30% three-point shooter. Like, he is not a good three-point shooter anymore.
He's more like 33, 34,
He is
but
a 30% three-point shooter this season.
he's played like 10 games.
Which one is it, guys?
Still, he was at 34 last year. He was at 33 2 years
He's never
before
been
that.
as good a three-point shooter
As
as,
he is
everyone
reputationally.
thought he was going to be when
That's
he
exactly
entered the league.
right.
He's never been as good.
It's a different thing, and so when you can't shoot the three efficiently,
Yeah,
it's
and he
more
doesn't.
difficult to play off the ball.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. Like, where we talk about Tyler Hero, like, you can give him a level of credit offensively. He's not the passer that
No,
Trae Young
Tyler's
is,
a high percentage
but
shooter, man.
he's a very efficient player, and that's the thing that tanks Trae Young's value. Is you talk about the counting stats of 25 and 10. It's with a massive usage rate. The ball is always in his hands, and that's where Dan's point
I
comes
feel like
in.
usage
which
rate is good. Players, they love not playing these days, you know?
Well, when they're on the floor, they want to get the ball and they want to get involved. And when your whole offense is revolving around a guy who is not all that efficient, that's where your team starts to suffer. And the thing that made him good was that at the time, at least the way he was getting guys involved made a lot of sense. And all of those guys played a role. But now you have a team with Jalen Johnson built around it. Everybody knows that's the direction you need to go. You have a budding superstar at 24 years old. And if Trae Young is constantly dominating the ball and it's disrupting that chemistry, it puts you in a really awkward position if you're the Hawks. They have no leverage.
So here's my question of Trae Young. Can Eric, and this is theoretical, can Eric Spoelstra and whatever power there is in Heat culture fix Trae Young?
You cannot have that defensive player on the floor. You can't. You just can't. He's terrible. And if Tyler Hero's a weakness, that guy's even more of a weakness defensively.
It's not even just that. I think you have to weigh the idea of Trae Young, who next year will opt into his contract and makes almost $50 million a season, or would you rather have Davion Mitchell, who makes like $5?
Right.
Well, he was terrible last night. All of the Heat were terrible last night, but we've wandered away from what was the original point because I got distracted by Trae Young talk. But LeBron saying for the first time, this is the first acknowledgement, right? And the reason I say it's all absurd is I can't believe he's the oldest player in the league. He's 40 years old, and he was still last year, speaking to usage rate, he was a guy who could be 25 and 10, like without any problem. And I heard Hannibal Buress talking about this the other day. It was such a good point during he had a pop-up set here in Miami where he just showed up and did some comedy. And he was just talking, and he did a great riff about how weird it must be to be Bronny and have your 40-year-old dad still be a good deal better at basketball than you are, even though most places you go that aren't the NBA, you're the best basketball player walking into any place you're going, but you come home and your dad's just dribbling the ball between his legs, looking at you, you're still not as good as me. I told you I'm highly questionable. I loved asking competitive athletes how it is that they competed against their kids. And all of them would say, all of them, he got close to beating me at the end, and that's when we stopped playing. The idea that Bronny still can't beat his dad when he's an NBA player.
One-on-one, what's the score?
Whatever it is, it's still not Bronny winning, and it just can't have a lot of precedent in the history of 40-year-olds that somebody who's good enough to be in the NBA still can't beat his dad.
LeBron still skunks him one-on-one,
It's
right?
whatever
Definitely skunks him.
whatever score it is to 1 because he just got too cute trying to block a shot and maybe one layup goes in underneath him. He had 38 and 8 last night. He's 41 years old. What?
It's
How?
crazy.
Let's
player.
I want to play this sound we have of him talk just to how old he is. He's still dominating his son. This is LeBron talking about playing back-to-backs at his age.
Every back-to-back for the rest of the season is TBD. I am 41. I got the most minutes in NBA history. Bank it right now, okay? What are we talking about?
It's just that you don't look like you're 41 on the court.
But I am. Look at my birth certificate, December 30th, 1984, 4:39 p.m. That's when I was born.
Any suckers out there?
I ain't got, when I came out, slapped the doctor in the ass. All right, I'm done.
Has he said how much longer he's going to play?
No.
he could play another 2 or 3 years, right?
Well, Nick Wright said one of the most absurd things in the
Crazy.
history of this show, said that at 50 he'd still be an all-star.
And then a week later, he got sciatica.
I might buy 45. He's He's a unicorn. He's Tom Brady.
But what do you guys make of the articulation that he's finally saying? We've been talking about usage rate, and he's always at the center of the usage rate. This is the first time that someone else is getting the concession. Keep in mind that with the Lakers, Carmelo Anthony refused to come off the bench. Toward the end of his career, when people were talking about getting Carmelo Anthony, who at the time I think was 5 years, 6 years younger than what LeBron is now, he wasn't willing to come off of the bench. What do you make of the articulation finally that LeBron, is there anything meaningful about the articulation? I will make my game fit around Luka.
I think it's great. I think it's a statement. I think it's a watershed moment for LeBron, who is saying, I have found a way to age gracefully. So many superstar players don't age gracefully on their field of play because their ego won't let them. And here LeBron finally is sort of saying, I can be in an elder statesman role where I don't have to be the best guy on the floor.
Yeah, I think it's straight out the LeBron playbook, where you say something like that, I'm changing my game, and I'm still 30-8. You know, like I think it's such a LeBron move. I'm not even doing the things I used to do. I'm now playing a different way, and I'm giving you 38-8. I think it's right out the LeBron playbook.
He's 41 years old, and since turning 41, he's played 3 games since that date. In those 3 games, 31 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 26 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, and then last night, 38-8.
And that's why he's letting you know that's what changes.
Did we miss a trip to Miami? What did we miss here? Did he miss some games a couple weeks ago?
Can you imagine being Bronny and still not being as good as your dad? Like it's got to stink. It really does. It has to stink.
But if you're Bronny, it's like, okay, he's the best ever. So I guess I'll
it's
accept
like Jacob
it.
Dillon. I'm trying to think of like an example outside of sports because we've never seen this happen. Like Ken Griffey Jr. was immediately better than Ken
Jacob
Griffey
Dillon,
Sr.
like from the Wallflowers?
Yeah, he's not Bob Dylan. I don't know. Sorry.
I'm glad you said that because I had no idea
Such
who
a
that
random
was.
reference.
I'm just trying to think of like
it's
famous
not no, it's not. It's not that random. Like Bob Dylan.
He got to be really, really good. The Wallflowers are great, but he's not Bob Dylan.
It's not a bad example.
The Boons.
So you, the Boons.
Man, I really just ruined everything.
Pat Boone
You
and
did.
Debbie Boone.
Can
You're
I
talking.
Can I just add?
No.
Just why don't you let that sit there so that we can all marinate in just his joke of like throwing a Debbie Boone out there. I'm so exasperated by this. This is how Kornheiser aged comedically.
My dad was on Kornheiser this morning.
Yeah, he was very
Tony the
excited about
K.
it. You took a quick K? You
Yeah.
took a quick K with Tony K?
No, Tony the K, I call him.
This is an exasperation of mine comedically that he has a Tourette's that anytime somebody says any word, he just says the next thing that comes into his mind. And so we were talking about the Boone family in baseball, and he decided to throw out there Debbie Boone. Go ahead and look up the years of Debbie Boone. I'm going to say early 70s, Greg, is what it is you're throwing out to our YouTube and podcast audience, okay? Most of whom are younger than whatever the Debbie Boone demographic is. Give me some Debbie Boone. It's not as old as some of your other old references, but if you're going to make one of those Tourette's jokes where you just jump out there and say something like that, can you make them slightly more modern so that more of the audience can get
Debbie
them?
Boone, you know, I like to educate. Debbie Boone had the biggest hit single of a quarter century, not just a decade, in a song called "You Light Up My Life." I think that was the name
us
of
a
the
taste.
song, wasn't it?
It is.
And so,
Okay.
as much of a great career as Pat Boone had, Debbie Boone, with that one hit, usurped her legendary father.
Oh, so that's what you were doing. You were actually playing the game we were playing of a child that might be able to
Yes.
usurp their parent, as opposed to what it is that I thought you were doing, which is Roy
just hear the
mentioned the
word.
Boone family because there were 3 baseball playing Boones,
Yeah.
and you just jump in with the one Boone
Right.
that you think of.
Well, that's the Boone.
Not Bob?
No, other than Boone's Farm, which was the first wine Greg Cody ever got drunk on. Boone's Farm. Anybody else remember Boone's Farm?
No.
Hands? No?
No.
Give me the time.
Some guy in his
period,
car is out there.
please, Jeremy, of Debbie Boone and what Debbie Boone did other than "You Light Up My Life."
Well, so you Light Up My Life is what I'm on right now. It did top the charts for 10 consecutive weeks in 1977. But I believe she first got her start at 14 years old as part of, what do they call me? Yeah, the Boone Girls.
All right, so way to go, Greg. You got it just in under the half a century, a reference that's
There you go.
just half a century
newbie.
old.
I know.
What did Tony the K have you on for? Fix the Dolphins?
Fix the Dolphins and, Harbaugh and UM and Ole Miss tackles.
You give him the goods?
Yeah.
He sounds bored and indifferent in delivering. He's just run out of gas, right? It's 2 straight
Back in my day
days.
yesterday.
It's back from the holidays. That's what's
Yeah.
happened, right? It's simply the old machine is petering out.
Right.
To put this in perspective, though, about LeBron, to tie it all up, that song was number 1 only 7 years before LeBron James was born.
Happy New Year, everybody. 2026 is already getting off to an incredible start because you want to know how I rang in the new year? It was with a bunch of friends in a Dallas hotel lobby bar ordering a bunch of Miller Lights because that's how you do it. That's how you make special memories. Miller Lite has been by my side at many special football memories this year, and hopefully we get to write a few more memories with Miller Lite. Some of my most legendary moments have started that exact same way. A buddy's house, a lobby bar, a game, no big plan. And then you crack open a Miller Lite, you take a sip, and you look around, and you immediately recognize that you made the right call. You're locked into the game, the conversation, the moment, not thinking about what you're drinking. Miller Lite just fits. Clean finish, refreshing, brewed for taste with simple ingredients like malted barley. And at 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces, it never weighs you down. Legendary moments start with Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
All right, fun show today. I really loved Fix the Dolphins. I think we need to keep doing that. Who's next? Who's our B guy?
All right, so I got a couple. The first one that comes to my mind, Brian Baldinger.
Oh, double B, too. That's it.
I think that's a good. That's going to be hard to keep. So we had double A. This
Yeah.
would be double B.
Chris Collinsworth.
But that I don't think we'll ever get Collinsworth.
Oh,
But
you got to go to C on that one.
Yeah,
I can get you Chris Canty.
see, now we're talking here. I like this. If we can do double letters as much as we can.
do Brian Baldinger and then Chris
Is
Canty.
Dan Deerdorf still alive?
Yes,
Dude.
yes, he is.
Is he?
Whoa.
All right,
Bring
so
him back.
Wow, cooking with gas.
okay.
EE is going to be tough.
So we have our B, C, D nominees. Who do you think, Roy?
C for E. I'll get back to you on that.
This gets
Let's
tough
just focus
now.
on B. All right, we're gonna go after Brian Baldinger.
Nate
Baldinger's
Burleson?
a choice.
If he can't do it, who's next? Joe Buck.
I mean, Buck.
Nate Burleson.
Yeah, Buck would be good.
Nate Burleson. All right, so we'll find
Dean
some.
Bucky
Bland-
Brooks.
Dean Blandino.
I like where your head's at.
By the way,
trying
the
to
E,
do double.
Julian Edelman.
Julian Edelman.
No, but Dean Blandino's a rules analyst.
That's
He's not
why he
an
keeps
NFL
throwing up
analyst.
Landino. Like I want to stick
but
to
it's a funny
NFL
name.
analyst, but it is a funny name. So we'll
Bonnie
figure it out.
Bernstein?
Bonnie Bernstein.
Oh, Bonnie
See,
Bernstein.
Zaz is
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
this game,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
there
we'll
you
figure
go.
that out. Hopefully we have Brian Baldinger tomorrow.
No Chris Berman.
Oh, that'd be good.
Ooh, Berman.
You guys
I like that.
Greg, I found I found the Fourth Amendment to put on your Mount Gregmore.
Also,
Yeah?
Dave Damashek could be double D. But
Oh, yeah.
that'd
that's
be
true.
lazy by us.
Double D.
No, but hey, sometimes you need
Yeah, sometimes you
just
Sometimes
about-
you need some double
just about
D.
getting on the green.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have this one for you. The 21st Amendment. You know what that amendment?
How
did?
many
I
are
do
there?
not.
27 maybe?
Okay.
Does that sound
I knew. but I
27
was just-
amendments.
Some people out there were asking. So
So, the 21st Amendment repealed the 18th Amendment.
oh, that's
Ooh, why did it need repealing?
It
It
lifted
was unappealing.
prohibition.
ah.
That's a big one for you, Greg.
That is a big one.
Legally being able to drink.
I'm
I'm
telling
going to
you
be
what.
taking advantage of that tonight.
The big four. 1, 2, 5, and 21, apparently.
1, 2, 4, 5, and 21. And 13,
Yeah.
quite frankly.
Don't forget about that, Roy.
Well, and
Yeah, I can't
19.
forget about that, no.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Jess.
How ridiculous is it? Mike Ryan is on his way right now to the Fiesta Bowl.
On the bird.
On the bird.
And right after the show ends today, I'm getting on a bird also. I'm going to the Peach Bowl.
Oh.
Oh, that's too
God, I'm
bad.
sorry for you.
Enjoy Atlanta.
I mean, it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, it will be fun.
And I like Atlanta a lot.
Yeah,
but
Atlanta's
it's
a
like
good city.
yeah, Canes tomorrow.
Why is the
Fiesta
Peach
Bowl.
Bowl in the mix? That's like a small bowl compared to
No,
the
it's
big.
part of the New Year's
Compared
Six.
to the Big Four, though.
No, but it's New Year's 6.
1, 2, 5.
OLI.
I actually
that bowl.
heard, I think
It
it was
is.
Joel Klatt saying that the NCAA football needs a signature event. Now that the bowls kind of switch, they should have one bowl that's there's like, and he thinks it should be the Rose Bowl. He thinks that they should switch it so that every year the national championship game is the
Oh,
Rose
please.
No,
You know, we talked about
no,
this Rose
no.
Bowl
Yeah.
like it's by far the greatest
I mean,
game.
it
I'm
is.
sorry.
But it's the granddaddy of them all.
Bowl. Are you guys going to be homers and say what would be the number one bowl if there is one?
Oh, the Orange Bowl.
It's clearly the Rose Bowl.
No, it's the Orange Bowl.
Why is it
I would agree
clearly
the Rose
Rose?
is number one, but the orange and the sugar,
Right.
to me, tie for
I'd be
second.
fine with those being the semifinals every year. Those three bowls, but big three.
The cotton is a distant fourth. The Peach Bowl, come on.
But I will admit that in this new setup, I don't even like. I know it is the Fiesta Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. but
Overrated.
I'm thinking it's just
Fiesta
the play.
Bowl's
It's just the
overrated.
playoff
Overrated.
matchup.
Roy nailed it.
Yep,
It's just
overrated.
the playoff matchup to me. I've lost. I don't even think about what bowls these actually are. So I think that they could give these bowls more value if they kind of stick them in spots forever.
Yeah, that's not a bad point. I do think the mystique of the bowl is diluted by the college football playoff because you're entirely right. It's Ole Miss versus Miami. Nobody thinks, oh, the Fiesta Bowl. You know, the Fiesta. It doesn't matter what bowl it is. We want the game. No
Not
matter
the
where-
Cotton Bowl.
Yeah,
Not the Citrus Bowl.
right.
The Holiday Bowl.
No, hell no. You kidding me?
You know about that Cheez-It Bowl?
I do know about that Cheez-It
Wow,
Bowl.
you really want these bowls to be Brobdingnagian.
You do. Well put.
What is your favorite snack, Dad? Outside, like in the Cheez-It realm.
Cheez-It Extra Toasty.
If you're opening a bag, that's a snack. It's a bagged snack. What's your favorite bagged
I
snack?
like combos, big combos.
Ooh,
Oh,
no,
combos
not for
are
me.
pretty good,
No
yeah.
combo for
No,
me.
you know what I had
Not
the other
pretzel
day?
cheddar.
I had a bag of shelled pistachios with like a hatch chili seasoning, like a spicy shelled, pre-shelled.
You don't go shellless?
It's a pain in the ass to shell pistachios, so these had already become shelled
So
for you.
shell lit.
Or
Oh,
unshelled.
When they're
De-shelled.
shelled, that means they're shellless.
Right.
Well, that
Shellless.
doesn't make any
yeah. I
sense.
don't know. I don't
They've been shelled.
agree to disagree.
They've been shelled. That's right.
Shelly Duncan.
Well put.